Dr. Patterson here, and going to talk about some of the things that you've seen online regarding food. There's a lot of information out there, but I want to impress upon you that there's nothing new under the sun. Okay, Ecclesiastes 1, I think verse 9. And the reason why I'm saying that is because everything that you need is inherent in you. I'm going to talk about uh, innate intelligence and artificial intelligence in another video. But I want you to understand that all that you need has been placed here. So you're getting a lot of information. A lot of information is confusing. But if you think like that, it won't be. So you're learning about juicing. There's nothing wrong with that. You have to know if you're the type of person who can go on a strictly fruit and vegetable juice diet, consuming only fruit and vegetables. That's your fruitarians. Vegetarians will include a lot more vegetables in there and some other foods, maybe some grains. A carnivore, all meat diet. Now, I'm going to tell you something. None of those diets are wrong. What it has to do is, are you the person for that type of food? So the best way to find out is through a test called a heart rate variability test. Most chiropractors offer that test in their offices, and a lot of your cardiologists are familiar with that test, and they can do that test. And what we're trying to find out is we want to know what your autonomic nervous system is saying. This is a system whereby everything works on autopilot. You don't have to sit back and think, well, I'm chewing some gum. Okay, all right, go down my esophagus, move into my stomach. Okay, hydrochloric acid, pepsin, let's act on it. You don't have to do that. Everything happens automatically. So there are two systems. One system is working right now, the sympathetic portion of the autonomic nervous system, and then the parasympathetic is rest and digest. That'll work. Hopefully when you go to sleep, if your systems are working fine, which the heart rate variability test will tell you, then you should be able to sleep, and all these functions will take place. Unfortunately, with the standard American diet, this does not happen, and that's the result of you consuming foods that are processed and ultra processed foods, which is not conducive with the body's digestive system nor the other systems in the body. So but I want to talk about a group of people, okay, called Maasai. And this is a group of people that's in Tanzania. And I got this information from a book called Nutrition and Physical Degeneration. Every doctor should read this book. It's not a required reading, but it's something that's recommended as part of our nutritional education. Winston A. Price, this was back in 1939 when he put this book together. You can still probably find this book. Many reprints have been made, but this is a dentist who decided to take a trip around the world. And one of the groups of people that he visited, he visited many all over the world. And the group that impressed him the most, I should say, was the Maasai tribe. And this is what they eat: meat, and they drink a gallon of unprocessed, unfiltered meat, milk, meat and milk, meat and milk. A gallon of this here, raw and natural. Can you imagine that? And so, but what he found was that there was no evidence of hyperlipidemia, no evidence of cardiovascular disease, no diabetes, no obesity, none of the elevated levels that we see in our blood values on our blood tests that they have. People were strong, no disease that he could decipher. So, but is that wrong? Now, if you are a person that consumed, this is carrot, beet, parsley, and celery juice, and there's some cantaloupe here. If you consume this type of diet and this type of food, would it be wrong with that group? Well, yeah, because you have to go by the topography, the land. These people have figured things out long before there was ever even the United States of America. So they figured out how to eat and how to live in harmony with nature. This is what they're doing. And keep in mind that they get all their nutrition without stoves and refrigeration. I'm going to tell you about another guy who's in Panama who has classes on fruits and vegetables, which is very, very good if you fit in that category. But the sun is good, it's hot. Both of these countries, I'm going to get my globe here. Let's see. You see this here. I'm looking for Tanzania. Tanzania is about 7 degrees south longitude of the equator, And we go over to Panama, that's about 7 degrees or 8 degrees north of the equator. I don't care. It's hot in both those places. Okay, you got black people there. It's hot. They use the sun. They use what's natural. There's a Aris Latham, Dr. Aris Latham. He's in Panama. He doesn't use a stove to cook. Can you imagine that? They use the sun. So that's very important. So we talked about Winston A. Price was another one that influenced me. I got this back in the early 70s. Okay, this is Dr. Norman Walker. He's a chiropractor. This book, it might be out of print. I don't know if you'll be able to find it. It's Diet and Salad, 1971. But there's been talk. Like I say, this stuff is old. It's not new. So there's been a lot of talking. In his book, he says that it is impossible when we eat 2, 3, or more meals a day not to have residue accumulating in the colon in the form of undigested food particles, as well as end products from food which has undergone digestion. He goes on to say further, I'm just reading a few little things here. The regeneration and replenishment of life in your body must essentially come from the life inherent in the foods you eat. So when you cook foods, you cook all the life out of the foods. Let me just throw this in real quick, because a lot of you asked me about apple cider vinegar. This is the apple cider vinegar that I use. It's by Fairchild's. Okay, it's strong, so make sure, just take a capful of this here and put it on a salad or something like that and see if you can get that down. But you can put that into your a glass, about 4 to 6 ounces of water in the morning. That'll help to break your appetite. You don't want to start your appetite, but it'll break an appetite. If you want to eat once a day and you want to eat a little later in the day, that'll help to keep your appetite at bay. Okay, so what I was saying about, and I'm going to cut this off soon, was this influenced me. So I was started in 1972 with vegetarianism, haven't looked back since. But is it wrong? No, it is absolutely not wrong. You need to know the foods, where you fit in terms of your body. Because one thing about African Americans in this country, we are completely out of our topographical area where we should be. So we have to try to adapt. And one of the things that I noticed, and it's not just African Americans, most people that come here in this country do not adapt. Their bodies do not adapt to the standard American diet, which is processed and ultra processed foods. So I'm going to go a little further into this on YouTube. I can talk a little bit longer and give you a lot more details. We were talking about that milk. That was the milk that I used was just for purposes of education only, but that was coconut milk, and you see it's not very white. But when you go to the store, you wouldn't buy something that looked like that in a jar because you're used to something being very, very white. And so just an example of some of the chemicals that are put into it, they use titanium dioxide in a lot of things to make it extremely white. So anyway, I know this is a lengthy video. Hopefully if it doesn't post on the Instagram, it'll be on YouTube. All right, best in health.